everyone. I'm Cheryl Grace, founding CEO of Powerful Penny LLC, an executive coaching, consulting, and lifestyle firm. Our mission is to empower women to confidently advance to their next level of what I call fabulosity at work, in love, and at home. Welcome to season 4, episode 4 of Live from the Pink Couch. This is an interactive web series that helps professionals that we call our hashtag Next Level Tribe reach their career goals in real time. Now, we've got 3 ambitious professionals we're coaching right before your eyes. Meet Destiny, our newbie. Hey, Destiny.
Hi, Cheryl.
Destiny is fresh out of college. And when I say fresh, I mean like last week. And she's eager to get started in the real estate world. Vicki is our rising star. Hi, Vicki. Vicki's seeking a promotion after being on the job in her current company for 10 years. And Deshira, our career 2.0 star. Hi, Deshira.
Hello.
Deshira is looking to start over. Now, my goal is to help these 3 ambitious women achieve their biggest, most audacious goals. And we call these goals pink elephants. And a pink elephant requires you to lean into your faith to bring it to fruition. And it also may involve you having to ask others for help. And when they reach their goal, and they will, they get booted out of the tribe. And that's a good thing. That means that they are officially ready for their next level. Now, if you're watching and you have any questions, please post them in the comment section. Maybe we can help you with your career goals too. That's what we're here for. We're here to provide help. Now, in addition to me providing direction and guidance to our hashtag Next Level Tribe members, I bring in other executive coaches or industry experts to work with one of our Next Level Tribe members in real time to get our tribe member closer to her goal. We like to think that here on Live from the Pink Couch, big dreams meet even bigger inspiration. So our experts are top notch, but we don't tell our hashtag Next Level Tribe members who's being coached until, well, right now. Tonight's surprise guest expert is Camille Edwards. Hello, Camille.
Oh, how are you?
I'm good. You all, Camille is not your average industry icon. After a successful 30-year career in media in all of the major markets, including Chicago, Philadelphia, DC, and New York, and working at major industry brands such as NBC and ABC, Camille reinvented herself in the real estate game. She became a top-notch realtor serving the Detroit metro area. And in just 3.5 short years, Camille's already achieved some major milestones many realtors only dream about, including selling million-dollar homes, and winning Berkshire Hathaway's top honor, the President's Circle Award. Woo! Oh, major. She's even been named an all-star in Detroit's Hour magazine. She started out in one role and moved over into another. And as you can imagine, starting out or starting over, they can both present challenges in the professional world. If you're starting out, you may not have any industry connections or mentors to help you. And if you're starting over, you may find yourself in a completely different industry, feeling like you're back to square one. But Camille is proof that it's possible to overcome any obstacles and launch an amazing career. So tonight, Camille is going to be teamed up with, drum roll please, our newbie, Destiny, a recent college grad with an international business degree who's still trying to figure out exactly what she wants to do. But Camille, she's pretty sure being a real estate entrepreneur is in the cards for her. So we thought, who better to guide her than you? And since you know all too well the challenges of starting out and even starting over. So here's how it's going to work. We're going to give Camille, you, and Destiny 20 minutes to talk with each other. And Camille, give Destiny whatever guidance you think is necessary that you wish you had had when you were just starting out. We're going to mute ourselves and let you two have at it.
Thank you.
Yo. Hi there. Hi, Destiny.
Hi, Camille. How are you?
Great. I feel like I could probably coach all three young ladies because I've had to start over. I was a rising star at one point in one career, and I'm a rising star now in my current career. And I was a newbie recently. So, it goes to show you that if you have the determination, no matter what you do and no matter what stage you're at in your career, you can sort of figure it out. And that's what I'm doing. So do not be, Destiny, taken aback from my years of experience in the media industry. I have only had 4 years in real estate. So I'm still considering myself new, but I don't ever tell anybody that. So first of all, Cheryl mentioned that you are still trying to figure it out. What is it about real estate that you think you're drawn to?
What I'm drawn to would be the showings. I've actually sold a couple of properties in the past, just being an assistant. And I just had this like excitement of, being able to show somebody their home, maybe like their potential future home. And I was like, wow, I really like doing this because I'm always known like by my closest friends and family that I'm very caring and I give back to others and things like that. So I was like, this could be a potential passion for me. Real estate may be something that I'm interested in, and I know I can make a lot of money because of my personality, my beauty, my smart, my intelligence. So, yeah, that's what really gravitated me towards real estate, was more so the showings because I've had experience in it.
Oh, that's great. So I think you have a family member that's a realtor. Is that what Cheryl shared with you? Mm-hmm. So were you able to show a home with your relative? Is that how you're able to do it? Okay, because you would obviously need to have a license to officially do it, but you certainly. Yeah, so yes, all of those things can absolutely help you be a great realtor. Being smart, being driven is really important. I don't like to focus on the beauty because I think we're all beautiful in our own way. And I think people gravitate to people that they feel more comfortable with, right? And so the fact that you want to help people is a really good thing. So that's a good thing to focus on, that you want to help people achieve their dream of owning a home or buying their dream home or whatever the specifics are. So that's a good way to put it. So tell me, are you from? I know you're from Boca Raton, right? Are you from there? Or
I'm from Las Vegas, but I was raised in California, and then I went to Boca Raton for college.
Okay. So have you heard of the sphere of influence? Have you heard that term before?
I have, yes.
Means that those are the people that are in your little circle, your sphere, people that are friends or family or associates or former students. So do you think that your sphere in Boca Raton is, and be honest, I know you will, good, or maybe low level, medium level, or you feel like you know a lot of people?
I would say it's good, just because the past 4 years I've been so accustomed to just being on campus. So I haven't really had the opportunity to really expand out and really maybe meet some real estate agents in Florida and kind of expand networking like that. But yeah, I would say good.
Okay. So that's one thing that to work on even before you get your license. I mean, the first thing as a realtor is obviously you have to be licensed. So you'll have to take all the courses that are required for the state of Florida. Obviously, I know Michigan, I don't know Florida, but my coursework was 40 hours that we had to take learnings and classes. At the time, it was before COVID. And then we had to pass 3 real estate exams. So that has to be your focus now. I would even begin learning and getting the books and training pamphlets that you can get to sort of start prepping for that, because it's no joke. I passed them the first try, but most realtors don't pass. Mm-hmm. It takes a couple times, and that's okay, because some of the best realtors, it took 3 times for them to pass. So it has nothing to do with, their how smart they are. It's just a matter of how well you study for the test. Right. And so that would be the first thing I would say as your coach, is to really find out the requirements for the coursework that you have licensed in Florida. And then before you sign up, you know, obviously talk to your family member who's in real estate, but start trying to figure out what's going to be required in order for you to pass that test, because you can have the desire and determination to be a realtor, but if you don't pass that test, you're not going to be able to do it. So that's the first thing. And then I mentioned this sphere of influence. So start writing down you know, do it in an Excel spreadsheet or however you want to compile your list, but everyone that you know and their phone number and their email and notes, you know, to remind you of who they are, because that's going to be what helps drive your career, especially in the beginning. For me, even though I had already had a career in the media and I knew a lot of people in the cities that I worked in, but I never worked at home. I only did right after college. So that was 30 years ago. So when I moved back to the Detroit area, I really knew my family and that was it. I had some sorority sisters that I, you know, had stayed in touch with, but I was gone for so many years that my sphere was non-existent in Michigan, in the Detroit area. So I had to really start building that from scratch. And that was just, you know, always talking about what I was doing. Even before I got my license, I was talking, if I was out, you know, at a party or at, you know, with my friends or whatever it is, I would talk about real estate. Because one, it is a passion of mine. It was then, of course. And I wanted people to know that I was a realtor. And that's one thing that you really have to, you know, really force yourself. Even if I'm in the checkout line at TJ Maxx and you know, I've talked to somebody, I'm very talkative anyway. So, you know, thumbs up, I bring it up some kind of way. And they're like, oh my God, I was thinking about looking for a house, or I know somebody that might be wanting to buy a house, you know, in a couple months. And I always have my cards available. So that's something that you really have to train yourself to do, because I wasn't used to that in the beginning. I was not used to, even though I was in the media and obviously, you know, I worked with reporters, I was not somebody who liked to be in the spotlight. So talking about myself, even now, and talking about what I do has been, you know, a learning curve for me. I was very, you know, I'm going to stay humble and, you know, be in the background, but as a realtor, you can be humble, but you can't be in the background. You know, this is my business. You're an entrepreneur. That's the other thing that you have to really work on too. So that's the third thing I do like to do things in numbers. So the first thing is getting all your requirements for what it takes to be a realtor, a licensed realtor in Florida. Then two, starting to focus on your sphere of influence, that list of people that you know, and even people you don't know, people that you want to know, like compiling that list. And then the third one is, you know, preparing yourself to be able to put yourself out there. So practicing when you go out, you know, how you finagle that conversation that has nothing to do about real estate and make it, you know, somehow naturally and authentically bring it up. And that's something that I struggled with in the beginning, but now I do it all the time. And it's like, you will not believe how many contacts I make by just talking about what I do. Because people, you know, everybody watches HGTV, everybody watches, you know, Real Live, you know, the magazines, whatever, they love to look at houses. So it's quite natural for people to, you know, want to talk about it. So that's the third thing. All right. So tell me, what are your passions?
That's what I'm indecisive about. I like to do a lot, but picking a particular passion is where I start to get a little indecisive. I'm like, okay, I love to draw. I have a very creative mind. I love to write. There's so many things I like to do, but has anything really gravitated towards me where I'm like, wow, I want to do this every single day of my life. I love doing it. No, I haven't found that yet.
Okay, let's look at it from another direction. So what is it that you love to do? Like, just, it doesn't matter if it's like going out with your friends or going to new restaurants. Like what is something that really excites you just every day?
Eating at new places and different environments.
Okay, so you like to be out and about.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing. That's another thing you can add to your list too of, you know, this is all in preparation because you're going to pass the test. I always focus on positive, like you're going to pass the test. But all these other things that I'm telling you are going to help you be ready for when you do pass the test so you can get out of the gate sort of off to the races, right? So, you know, you like to go out and be out and about. So practice having those conversations with new people about, you know, your passion. If it's real estate, you know, or whatever it is, if it's drawing, just having those natural conversations. So eventually, if you decide to go into real estate for sure, that you'll naturally be able to talk about it. So practicing that now will help you down the road. And I think that would help any of the young women here today, is being able to talk about what you like to do and what your passions are. Because whether it's at work, you know, letting people sort of know a little bit about yourself. You know, I used to be very protective of my personal, you know, life. I didn't like anyone knowing what I did. And not that I was doing something crazy outside of work, but I was very private. And I feel like that made me a mystery to folks. And so, you know, you've got to find the balance of what you feel comfortable with talking about, and then what you're willing to share, because that's how people get to know you better in a work environment. So if you're practicing how to have those conversations naturally and what you feel comfortable sharing, that'll help you be a better realtor down the road. Because you have to be able to connect with your clients. Like I work with all kinds of people. Like right now I'm working with a veteran, an actual disabled veteran. And, you know, I had never been in the military. I didn't come from a military family. So I, you know, had to make sure that I, one, thanked him for his service. That's the first thing you do, but also to make sure that I was meeting his needs and asking the questions that I needed so that I could understand, you know, what kind of house he wanted, what was important to him. So you have to be able to connect with every person, because everyone is different. Everyone is different. And that's the fun part of the job. That's can also be the challenge of trying to manage, you know, different types of people and multiple, you know, at the same time. So multiple people at the same time. So, so yeah, I think you know, I know you're just out of school, and I can remember back to those days when I just came out of school. I knew what I wanted to do. So, but I understand that there are a lot of people who come out of college, even though you know you've gotten your degree in international business, you got to sort of start now honing in on what it is that you want to do. And if real estate's it, I highly recommend it. And you know, if I had just started real estate right out of college and had 30 years now under my belt, you know, it would have been amazing. So you know, the fact that you are ready and willing to maybe get into the business now, just imagine 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when you really become more seasoned, how big of a career you could have. So, but yeah, I think, you know, I'm sure Cheryl and maybe some of the other coaches that have been on have maybe honed in on that. You have to sort of figure out, you know, what your passion is and how you turn that into your career. And so for me, you know, when I was making the transition into this new career, and I could have done anything, right? I decided that, you know, I love houses. I love, just like you, I love looking and going into houses. I like, you know, I would go to open houses sometimes on my own, even though I wasn't looking for a house. I watched HGTV like crazy. I wanted to be on HGTV at one point. I was like, oh, I'm going to run HGTV. I was going to be, you know, be in charge of program. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. So that's how I turned my passion of real estate. It was always bubbling while I was in the media. Like, so I knew it wasn't that hard of a decision for me to make that turn. But what was hard is the entrepreneurial part, being an entrepreneur. And I think that's the fourth, right around four, the fourth thing that you need to start thinking about is how do you run a business? It's your business. You're going to be the first employee, but who and what can you do to line up yourself as a successful business? And that's one thing that, even though I ran businesses for other companies for years and years and years and managed millions and millions of dollars, I'd never run a business on my own that was for me. And so that's where I wish I'd done a little, even though I know I have a lot of experience, it just wasn't in this space. And I wish I'd done a little bit more of, you know, making sure, you know, I'm not an LLC currently. I should be. You know, the things that I wish I knew, I'm working on it, but things that I should have done, you know, when I first started out. Just lining yourself up for success as far as running a business is something that I highly recommend starting out from the gate. So
how does she do that, Camille? Any suggestions on how you start positioning yourself for success as a business owner?
So, well, one, this is Cheryl's platform here, Live from the Pink Couch, is a great way, but also tapping into successful, since if it's going to be real estate, successful realtors who have done that. And so I can help you find those people. to make sure that you are starting off on the good foot. I feel like I've played a little bit of a catch up in that space, but it hasn't stopped me. I'm still doing good.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too, that you have to give yourself, some grace, Miss Grace, because you're not going to be able to do everything that everything on this list right away, or, come out the gate, like, guns blazing. Oh, that's probably not the appropriate thing to say, but you know what I mean? Like coming out really fast, and being successful really fast. And so, that's one thing I want to talk to you about too, is your expectations for, money and salary, and like what you think you're going to make right out the bat. So just off the top of your head, like what in the first year, what would be your goal, or what would you hope that you would make?
I said my first year, I hope to make $80,000 to $100,000.
Okay, that's great. That's a goal. That's awesome. So the question, okay, ask me. So Camille, how much money did you make in your first year?
Camille, how much money did you make in your first year?
Oh my God, I had the best first year. I made $6,000.
Really?
Six. And this is a woman who came off a 30-year career. I was making a lot more money than $6,000 a year. So it was a big wake-up call. So, I had a lot of experience, obviously, that could translate into real estate from my media career. So, and I'm a hustler, and I know you're probably a hustler too. So it wasn't like I was just sitting around and waiting for people to call me and, like, oh, no one's calling me to sell a house or help them buy a house. I was hustling and made $6,000. And that was because a realtor in my office had me co-list with her. It wasn't even like I had my first house on my own. My first house was a co-listing with another seasoned agent. So.
Okay, I got a question. I'm going to jump in if Destiny's not going to ask, and maybe you're going to ask these questions, Destiny. But so Camille, you said you were co-listing or whatever. So if Destiny gets into another, and I don't know the terminology, brokerage firm, realtor, I don't know. Does she get to go out on her own right away? Like, how does that work? Do they team her up with someone? How does that work?
So depending on what brokerage you go with, and that's another thing that we'll write that down on the list of the next thing to talk about. No, nothing is given to you. No leads were given to me. No, here's 10 houses we want you to sell. That will be, I don't think that exists. Maybe you'll find a realty company down there that does it, but I have never heard of that ever. This is all self-driven. So what I did is when, I first got into my company, I went around to all the top agents in the office who were making, selling multiple millions of dollars, and asked, how could I help? Can I host an open house for you? Can I tag along in a listing presentation? Can I come with you to a closing? I was like attached to them like glue, if they let me. And some agents, not all the time are friendly and helpful. Some can be more closed off. So you got to, figure that out and navigate that. But I had one agent who said, you know what, I have a listing that she'd already secured the listing. And she's like, I'm going to put you on with me to co-list it. And so from the beginning of the process to, meeting with the client, meeting with the sellers, to doing an open house, to putting the sign in the ground, to creating flyers to sell the house, all the steps that you go through to sell a home, she let me shadow her along the way. And then the great thing that she did, which most realtors may not do, is she split the commission with me half, which was very, very, very generous. And I will never forget her for doing that, because most agents won't do that.
That commission on that first house was $12,000, and she split it in half with you. So that's how you got your $6,000?
No, that was 3,000 of the 6,000. And then the other, that was the one listing. And then I think I did a couple of leases that gave me like a couple $100. And then I had one buyer who bought like a really rundown house in Detroit that was like $50,000, and the commission off of that. So, it can be, this job can be very glamorous, but I will tell you, most days it's not. And that's, you know, it's not selling sunset. I wish it was. It's not. I mean, I have fallen downstairs because I was trying to wear heels and be cute, you know, and look professional, or tripped downstairs. I didn't actually fall all the way down, but I tripped in front of a client. I have been, I've shown up to listing appointments in, you know, dressed to the nines and had, I don't know, I think the dog was 100 pounds all over me the whole time I was trying to say why you should have me be your realtor. So how do you deal with distractions when the dog is like all over you? Things like that. So it is not, I literally got home 15 minutes before this live from the pink couch. You know, that was my plan. I was supposed to be home an hour ago, but, and you know, you always have to make yourself available. And that's the next thing. Okay, one, let me stop, Destiny. Do you have any questions? And jump in, because I'll so much info.
No, I actually
got like 4 minutes left, so go on.
Yeah, I really appreciate all the advice you've given me so far. I don't have any questions at the moment. I'm just trying to write down and really, you know, let this all sink in, because this is some good stuff. So I just, I just want to keep listening, but no questions at the moment. I'm good.
And we'll, you know, obviously have time alone, so you can ask a lot of questions, and it's, you know, a lot of info. So
can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Destiny wants to make $80,000 to $100,000. How many houses does that? I mean, I know it depends on the level of the houses, but even if an average house, I don't know how much an average house costs in Florida, but if there's an average price of a house, like how many houses do you have to sell in order to get enough commission to make $80,000 to $100,000?
So typically you would have to sell between 10 and 12 houses a year to make somewhere around between 80 and 100 in Michigan. So that's with the average price being in the 300s or so. So, you know, if you sell a really big house, then that'll, you know, it fluctuates. And that's the other thing too, is that your pay will fluctuate depending on how many houses you sell in a year. And that was something that I had to get used to. So the next point is, if you have a savings, and I know you're just out of college, so you probably don't have a lot, but if there's, you know, save your money as much as you can and live below your means for the first couple of years until you get established, because the money coming in is not what people expect. And I, you know, Destiny, I pray and hope that you will be in that 80,000 to 100,000 in the first year, but I think it might be a little unrealistic out the gate. Just my, you know, just keeping you honest and keeping me honest.
Is it possible for Destiny to work someplace part-time while she is also a realtor? Can you make that kind of money working part-time?
I think it would be hard to work part-time to make that kind of money, but I do think that it might be smart to, you know, work part-time somewhere and do real estate, but knowing that you're not going to be making 80 to 100,000 in the real estate piece of it, just so you can have money saved up to live off of. So, you know, if you're living at home with parents or friends or whatever, and you don't have a lot of expenses, then that's great. But if you do have expenses that you have every month, you got to really map out before you start how you're going to pay your bills, because I think, you know, I didn't make 80 to 100,000 until my second year. And you know, I'm humping, like everybody thinks that it's not as glamorous as I said. It's fun and it's, you know, rewarding, but it's not as glamorous as people think. What I will say is, and this is not just for you, Destiny, but it's for Vicky and Deshira, it's like, whatever you set your mind to, especially as young women of color, or maybe not so young, I don't know your guys' ages and I don't need to know, but no matter where you're at in your career, it's like, you can do whatever you want. So Destiny, you want to make $80,000 to $100,000 a year, then you get on it and you tap into your resources. You got to find a mentor who's a realtor in your region, in your area, who you can latch onto. Maybe you can be their assistant. That's what I would really recommend for you, is to be an assistant to a top agent in your market. And that's how you can learn the business, and then also, you know, do real estate too, and sell houses on your own. But that would be a big recommendation I'd have for you. So at least you're getting a salary from that agent or paid hourly for whatever work that you do. And then you can also try to build your business. But anyway, back to what I was saying is that you guys can do whatever you want, no matter where you're at in your career. And this forum that Cheryl's created is a great way to either start out, reboot, or change up what you're doing. And so thank you for the opportunity. And I look forward to Destiny to talking to you and mentoring you. I will be your mentor forever and ever and ever.
Thank you.
If you want me to be.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Ms. Camille.
You're welcome.
You, Miss Camille. That was really, really very helpful advice. And I took away a few points, and we highlight some of the advice that our coaches and experts share, and we call them our coaches' pink couch tips. So I heard you say, Destiny, be prepared to understand exactly how you're going to break out that $80,000 to $100,000. Like, know where those dollars are going to come from. So just saying you want to make $80,000 to $100,000, what I heard Camille say is that takes at least 12 houses at around the average of $300,000. So you need to know that's in her market. So you need to know what the average cost of homes is in your market. So making sure you do that calculation. I also heard Camille say as a pink couch tip is study, 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 and get that real estate license, like number one. And then the last thing that I heard her say that really resonated was for you to identify possibly someone that you could be an assistant. Sometimes starting out as someone's assistant is the best way to grow and learn the business. And that would be a recommendation she would make. Did I get that right, Camille?
Absolutely. One of the top agents in Michigan used to be an assistant to another top agent. And, you know, I think especially with your coming right out of college, that would be a great way for you to start and learn at the same time.
Wonderful. So thank you, Camille, so much for joining us. Destiny, I hope you found this helpful.
I did. I really did. I really, really did.
All right. So we'll make sure that you guys have each other's information, and Camille will reach out to you, Destiny, and set up a time when it's convenient for her, when she's not falling downstairs, showing homes, to help you. And also, I love how she was so transparent about the highs and the lows of being a real estate agent, because nobody shares that kind of stuff with you. And what we want to do here is to share the good, the bad, and the ugly as you all advance to your next level. So thank you for that transparency, Camille. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Bye, Camille.
Hey, see ya.
So, Destiny, all right. What are your thoughts? What's going on?
Nothing. I really appreciate all the advice Ms. Camille gave me. I wrote down a lot of notes because I told you I'm a writer. So yeah, I'm looking forward. I'm definitely going to take her advice on looking at some assistant positions, working for top agents. I never would have thought of that. So yeah, I'm ready to get started.
So one of the things that you had, your first homework assignment was to identify the top 5 brokerage companies or real estate companies that you'd like to work for, and the top 5 companies, corporations that you'd like to work for that were not real estate focused. And you came up with a wonderful list. We shared that list. And the next homework assignment was to identify 5 individuals, one individual at each of those companies, one individual at each of the real estate companies, and one individual at each of the corporations. So I know from our last discussion that you're still working on doing that, but I think Camille just offered you some insight into who you should be looking at these companies. And so she suggested looking at the top realtors, within the companies that you've identifying who those top salespeople are, and asking them if you could possibly be their assistant. So that's what I would encourage you to focus on as your homework assignment going into our 5th week, our next to last week, is to identify who you think you can ask if they're looking for an assistant and if they would be willing to have you as your assistant, as their assistant before you get your license, and then even after you get your license. Does that make sense?
Yes. Okay.
Okay. What other questions do you have?
I don't have any other questions at the moment.
Okay. All righty. Well, we are wishing you luck, and we're going to see you next week, and you're going to come back with those 5 individuals and an email sent to the 5 folks asking them, because you got to just start jumping in there and putting yourself out there. So sending an email to the 5 individuals that you've identified as top in their game at the real estate agencies, and introducing yourself and asking them to be a mentor and or whether or not you can be an assistant.
Okay.
Okay. Great. Thank you. All right. Deshira and Vicki. Hello. Thanks for your patience today. So you all, Vicki is our rising star. She has more than 20 years of work experience. She's been with the same company for 10 years in her current role as a senior HR manager for 1 year. She's already thinking about how to get promoted to the director's level. Her pink elephant goal actually is to be a thought leader and a director of HR at her same company, making about $150,000 a year. And so, Vicki, you had a couple of homework assignments. Tell me what they were and where you are with them.
My homework assignment from last week was to narrow down the coaching programs that you asked me to research and to pick one. So I've chosen one. And then the second part of that homework assignment was to actually draft a blog post based on some ideas from previous homework about thoughts I had around 3 topics that were of interest to me that I had passion around with coaching. So I did draft my blog post. So I've been a little bit busy, but yeah, I chose my coaching program. So now it's a matter of me kind of going back and picking which path I want to take within the coaching program and start selecting dates. And I'll be doing that soon, selecting dates.
So what's the coaching program? So congratulations, first of all. Woo-hoo, we're gonna do a happy dance on you going through, just even identifying coaching programs. That took some time. So let's start there. What were your considerations that you were looking at? Which programs?
I actually chose the Gallup Global Strengths Coach. And I've been a fan of StrengthsFinder for, 10 years. I took my initial assessment back in 2010, and here we are 13 years later, and the concepts still resonate with me. So that to me says that there's a connection. So my biggest criteria, my biggest touch point was just being connected to the message of StrengthsFinder and being able to help people utilize their top 5 strengths and figure out how to master them in the workplace. It just spoke to me. So that was one of the criteria, just the immediate connection.
Wonderful. I love the StrengthsFinder as well. So how long does this program take and how much does it cost?
It's about $7,000, and the program can be done in anywhere from 3 months to 6 months. So it can be done fairly quickly.
Okay. And is this something that you will be footing the bill for on your own, or is your goal to ask the company to provide reimbursement for it? How are you figuring that out?
Both. So I have my mid-year check-in with my supervisor coming up this week, and I want to broach the topic with her. And our company does offer tuition reimbursement for certification programs. So I needed to talk with her and figure out how I can weave this into my professional development, my work-related goals, and see if there's a correlation between the company reimbursing a portion of it at least, and me putting forth some money myself. But ideally, they'd foot a good portion of it if I can tie a business value to it.
Excellent. So that's a chunk of that pink elephant goal for you. And I love that you have identified it, but you're working full time. So how are you going to divide your time between going after this certification and working full time?
The interesting thing about this program was it could be done in over a couple of days' time. So I could use vacation time from work to do this. So that would not be an issue for me at all. That wouldn't be an issue. Taking the time off to do it, because it can be done in a nominal amount of time, would not be an issue.
So you can get the certification in like 2 days?
The coursework can be done over the 2-day period, the actual virtual coursework. Then there's an exam to take, and then there are some practice coaching sessions. So it's not going to be certification, bam, in 2 days. That's just the coursework for the coaching certification.
Okay. So this is a Cheryl's Pink Couch tip for you, Vicki, and for anyone else who has the desire to accomplish something. I know, Deshira, you also have a series of courses and tests that you have to take. And breaking those goals into small bites is really critical to get your mindset around how you're possibly going to do it. So Cheryl's Pink Couch tip is divide things into small bites and put them on your calendar so that you're pacing yourself. This works for you as well, Destiny, because what that means is when you're going in and you're studying for the test, so that other things don't pop up to deter you, put them on your calendar. Plot and plan out your time so that your time doesn't just disappear and you wake up 2 months, 4 months later, and you're like, oh my gosh, why haven't I done this yet? Because you haven't plotted it out from a timing perspective. That's really very important. So that's wonderful. Now, Vicki, tell me the blog. What was your topic? How did it feel to write it? How long did it take? I want to know all of that.
So I was scratching my head on what made the most sense to begin this blog post. So I just began talking about why coaching interests me. I went back to kind of how I had an opportunity to participate in a work-based learning program at a previous employer. And part of that selection process was taking a couple of assessments. And I'd done some things in magazines and online articles, sort of some nonsense type quizzes. But this was like my first legit workplace assessment where there was a report generated about me. So I told that story in my blog post. And then I talked about how I came to know StrengthsFinder through watching an episode of the Oprah Winfrey Show. And then how I got into the books that came along with StrengthsFinder, Go Put Your Strengths to Work, and then the actual StrengthsFinder book itself. So talked a little bit about my genesis into wanting to go into coaching, how I had a desire to be a teacher when I was growing up. And here I am at this stage of my life looking to be a teacher again, but in a different profession. So my article was kind of it was all about me, but just how I came to be where I am now and the decision to kind of go into coaching.
Wonderful. I'd love to read it. Who's your target audience?
That's a great question, and one I had not thought about. So I kind of wrote it in a journal entry style. Wasn't thinking about the audience in mind. That's a great question.
Yeah, so here's another Cheryl's Pink Couch tip is whenever you are putting something out there on a social media post, a blog, a podcast, whatever your initiative is, first of all, identify who you're talking to. Create an avatar, if you will, of who that person is. So if the person is, a woman or a guy, but pick, right? Or choose, I'm talking to men and women in corporate America, or I'm talking to men and women who are in business for themselves, or I'm talking to people who are either gender just starting out, or I'm talking to veterans who have been working for at least 10 or 15 years. It's very important because me having a conversation with Destiny right out of college, it's totally going to be a different conversation than if I'm having a conversation with you and you've been working for 20 years. They're two different mindsets, and it helps you narrowly define how you're going to talk to that person. And once you understand who it is you're talking to, I highly recommend you envision in your mind a face, a person's face, someone that you know who fit that target audience, give them a name. So if I'm talking to newbies, I'm going to picture Destiny in my mind. And so I'm talking to a whole room full of Destinies, and I'm going to be talking in language that Destiny can relate to and not over her head. Right? So you got to make sure you understand who you're talking to. Have you posted your blog post yet, or did you just write it?
I just wrote it. I submitted it for homework, but I did not post.
Yes. So I'm going to ask you to go back and look at it again and tweak it based on who you're talking to. So identify that person in your mind and go back. That's your homework this week, is to go back and tweak your post so that the narrative is more confined to your target audience. And then what we'll do is we'll read a section of each, the before and the after, and you'll tell me if it feels different. Okay?
Okay.
This is helping you get to being a thought leader. Wonderful. Any questions, Vicki?
No questions. Now you got me kind of rethinking the topic altogether, meaning, is someone going to want to read all about me? What value?
Well, someone who is considering the same thing maybe. So maybe that's what your thesis statement is. If you've been considering how to take maybe you're talking to HR professionals. If you have always loved assessment tests and thinking of how you can coach others through it, here's how I started my journey, or here's how I'm starting my journey. Follow this along with me. It depends on who you're talking to. So maybe you're talking to a Vicki. And how helpful would it be, Vicki, if someone talked to Vicki this way about starting, being a thought leader as a coach within the company? So maybe you're talking to HR professionals who are already working in a particular company and who want to expand their skill set. So maybe you are your avatar. And then what would you need to know? What would be helpful for you? How does that sound?
That sounds really good. It's given me some food for thought. Thank you.
Comfort level with it?
On a scale of 1 to 5, I'm probably at about a 3.5, 4 comfort level.
Okay. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Right. So go back, identify that target audience. Anybody who's ever thought about being a thought leader, you need to decide who you're trying to lead. I try to work very specifically with people of color, even more specifically with women of color. Even more specifically, women of color who are looking at careers in corporate America. It doesn't mean I don't deviate from that from time to time, but that's my core audience. I know how to talk to them. I know what they're experiencing. I know what they're going through. I know what their pain points are. And so that's how you start building that thought leadership following, is because people feel like, oh my God, she's talking to me. I'm talking to you because I know what your pain points are. So find out what some of those pain points are for people who want to be a coach. And right now they're in an HR role. Okay. Deshira, you've been very, very patient. Thank you so much. How are you?
Welcome. I'm good. And you all?
I'm good. Deshira, have you got your test results back yet?
No, not till Wednesday. So
okay. I'm on pins and needles. Are you?
I am. I'm barely sleeping. So I can't wait.
I can imagine. So Deshira is a 20-year veteran with the U.S. Air Force, and she will be retiring, if you can believe it, because she looks like she's 15, but she's going to be retiring pretty soon. And her goal is to be a certified public accountant. And she has to take these 4 grueling tests, and she just took the first one. And her goal is to take all 4 of the tests and to be earning $150,000 a year within the next 18 months. So you had a homework assignment. What was your homework assignment, Deshira?
My homework assignment was actually 2 because of the one from the previous week. I have to apologize to Kelly. She did schedule an appointment with me on Thursday. However, duty called. Our commander made it mandatory that we pretty much go to an offsite location from our normal duty location. And it's kind of like connecting with your coworkers and all that good stuff. So I was out on the other side of the base for the entire day. I missed the call. There was no cell phone service out there. However,
did you let her know?
I did follow up with her. I need to check my emails to see if she wants to reschedule with me. And I also wanted to call her. I know we're on 2 different time frames, but yes, I was out there that entire day with no cell phone service until about 2 o'clock. And then my other homework assignment was to find 2 CPAs and interview them. And I did get that done. I just don't have that appointment until this Saturday.
So you have identified 2 CPAs?
Yes.
Okay, that's a happy dance moment. Happy dance. Come on, everybody. Happy dance. Happy dance. Now, how did you find them?
So I'm in a couple of, they're like CPA group chats on Facebook. When you buy like the Becker material, study material, they have these group chats for anyone who wants to join. And we just talk and submit like questions, whatever. Another good thing too that I found out through the group chat is that I now have 30 months, but I don't want to take the 30 months. I want to do it in 18 at least, because I know I'm a grader.
Just because you got 30 doesn't mean you need to take 30.
Right. It's a recent change that they made, so yeah.
Okay, all right. So we're going to stick to our 18 months though, right, Deshira?
Yes.
Okay. And then I think you were also going to update your resume. Is that what you were working with Kelly on?
Yes, I did I used the, what is it called? GPT?
Chat GPT.
I do like it. I just need to get with my officer on the numbers portion, because I know she was saying having that, the numbers and just showing the quantity of what I do in my resume will be good. I just had follow-up with questions, and I really, really wish I wouldn't have missed that call, but I had no cell phone service that entire day out there.
That's okay. If things happen, Cheryl's Pink Couch tip, if you find yourself unable to make an appointment, call the person personally right away. Sometimes if you have their phone number, email doesn't suffice it. The apology needs to be heard. So just give her a call and apologize in person, and also check to see if she's received your email.
Will do.
Yeah. Okay. So what about your LinkedIn profile? How's that coming?
I mean, it looks better. I took like the location that I updated my location. I updated the time frame of where and what I've done so far. I added some things like my, I think it's my Security Plus certificate. I updated that. And then I just have follow-on questions with her. That's it.
Okay. What I would suggest is send her the updated resume and LinkedIn profile so she has a chance to look at it before you guys reschedule. That way it's not starting from scratch and cold. She'll have received that from you.
Will do.
Any questions?
No, I have none.
Okay, can you like just text us and let us know? Text me when you get your results, for better, for worse, richer or poor. Just let us know.
I'm actually going to record it and post it because I'm making a journey page. So.
Okay, well then, all right. So you're gonna post it where? So we can be on the lookout for it.
Probably Instagram, but they're linked, so it'll probably be on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay, all right. I appreciate that. And if you all are not yet posting on Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook these sessions, please do, because I know that your community is rooting for you, just like I'm rooting for you, and it's really important to keep them abreast of everything, okay? Any other questions for anybody that I can answer? Anything you heard here today that you want more help on, anything?
I was just going to comment on the idea that Camille had about being an entrepreneur. I like the idea of that. Even when you're working in a corporate environment, there is an opportunity to kind of have an entrepreneurial spirit in the role that you have. So I'm looking to figure out how to perhaps set up my own coaching business, if you will, within my company. So she said that it kind of sparked something in me.
Yeah, I love that. And there are intrapreneurs. That's a thing. And that's something you can also research and figure out how other individuals become intrapreneurs, because it really, that's a great point, Vicki. It's a thing. All righty, ladies. Well, we are at time. If there's anybody out there who needs any career advice, reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, wherever you're watching this, and I will try my best to help you. But we're going to see our hashtag Next Level Tribe members this time, not next week, because next week we'll be off, but we will see you 2 weeks from today. Bye, everybody.
Check out the progression of all of our participants at Cheryl's channel of Fabulosity on YouTube, or learn more about the coaching programs and services we offer at IamCherylGrace.com. This has been a Powerful Penny LLC Pink Elephant production.